Hello and welcome to the Wrestling Without Context podcast. Join me, Sean, a lifelong wrestling fan, as I take my friend Brian,
that's me,
a complete unknown to the world of sports entertainment. With no prior knowledge or context, Brian experiences the magic, drama, and unforgettable moments of wrestling for the first time. Come along. I added a word.
Woof. Woof. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show.
I told you. We talked about this before we started. I was like, I took a joint out, so now my brain is telling me, where's the joint?
Where's the joint? Everybody, Sean took a joint out, and we haven't been able to get back to it.
I got a joint here and here. So
in here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Cheech and Chong's Wrestling Without Context podcast. All right, let's finish it.
Can we get them? Can we get them on?
No, I'm sure they can. I don't know if they've ever even I'm sure they have. Everyone's watched wrestling.
They've watched our show. So
yeah, exactly. They're one of our subscribers. Come along as I guide
Magic carpet, everybody.
Yeah, magic scoop us. Come along as I guide them through the larger than life characters, jaw-dropping feats, and stories that make wrestling an unforgettable experience. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Wrestling Without Context podcast. For those that have never seen the show before, the way it works is prior to the recording of this episode, Brian and I watch a match or matches that he has never seen before. And then we watch something wrestling adjacent, such as a promo segment, TV show, and a new segment, or no, it's not a new segment. We're calling it something new. It is going to be now called Everything is Wrestling.
Everything is wrestling.
Yes, because everything's
a drum.
Exactly. Anything's a drum if you hit it hard enough. Oof. And then we hit record and then we talk about it. For those of you that are listening on your favorite podcast app, please leave us a 5-star review. You can join us on Patreon at Wrestling Without Context for the low price of $1, where you can get this show audio and pretty soon video ad-free. You can also get access to our bonus content, which includes my bi-weekly show, The Heel Turn, where I give you my unfiltered thoughts on wrestling, life, whatever pops into my head. You can also get the access to the recording of us watching the match along, and you can get our commentary as we watch. Also, starting in September, you will be getting a monthly minutes bonus episode where Brian and I watch a very quick match, and you can get our thoughts. You can also find us on YouTube at Wrestling Without Context. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we'll give you a nice little shout out. We are currently at 15 subscribers, and if you help us get to 30, maybe Brian and I will give you a little free something.
Oh, hey, I'm always up for free something.
Yeah, no.
Come on, let's get 30.
Yeah, let's go. The Dirty
30. Oh, yeah.
Help us get to Dirty 30. You can find us on most forms of social media. You can find us on Twitter at Wrestling WOCONTXT or TXTX. Wow, really butchered that one. Wrestling WOCONTXT. You can find us on Instagram at Wrestling Without CNTXT. Why do I want to keep?
What is that spelling? CX.
See, Brian, you shamed me into putting our socials out there. This is what I kept saying. Well, I had to differentiate it because sometimes I can't type out the full title, so I took out.
You took out the vowels.
Yeah, I know. So the Twitter is Wrestling WOCONTXT. Instagram is Wrestling Without the full thing, but then it's CNTXT. We are on TikTok at Wrestling Without CNTXT, and we are on Blue Sky at Wrestle WOCNTXT. But also, if you don't want to go through any of that and use your search function, you can find the Linktree link on this YouTube video, also in our Spotify episode, where you can get all of those socials in the easy one click of a button. Hello, Brian. Yes.
Hello, Sean.
Yeah, I know. I told Brian before we started that this was going to be a much longer intro because I had to get all the business out of the way. I had to make sure because I was tired of flying by the seat of my pants.
And I interrupted one too many times.
No, it was great. I fumbled. I opened up the door when I
caught you.
Exactly. So thank you for joining us as we move on to episode 11. Last week for episode 10, we watched Rock versus Roman Reigns, and we had recorded that a week or two before SummerSlam, so we had no idea that Brock Lesnar was going to be re-debuting in WWE, and everyone has all the takes. If you
I knew he was coming back.
Exactly. But no, Brian, it's been a minute since we recorded. How are you doing?
I'm good.
How was Brian's month of August?
Month of August, it's monsoon season out here, so we're starting to get some thunderstorms and stuff, and a haboob came through the other day, and a lot of dust and sand, and that was fun. I flew to Vegas the other day. That was fun. You laughing at haboob? You thinking about the big haboob? It's great.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I just hear the word boob, and
it's shaped like a big boob too. It's a big dome of dust.
A big haboob of dust. Haboob
of dust.
Haboob dust.
So yeah, it's been good.
It's been good. Since we last spoke, the G1 climax that we slightly talked about last time, it concluded. I probably watched over 30 hours of wrestling. I didn't watch every single match. Yeah, it was long. It started July 19th and it just finished this past weekend. So that was a lot of wrestling.
Did that last you the whole month, or was that like a week of wrestling for you?
No, so I was able to keep up. So the show started on July 19th. The first couple episodes were just all straight tournament matches, and then as you moved to night 3, night 4, it was tag team matches for the people that weren't in their tournament matches, and then tournament matches. So I only watched the tournament matches. Tournament matches. So
a lot of them.
Yes, exactly. So, and it annoyed the crap out of me when I was re-editing our episode, not re-editing, I was editing the episode, and I couldn't get the math down on what was going on. I was like, how do they get past 10 points? It's 10 people in a block. You face each person one time, so you're facing 9 people. So the maximum amount of points you could have gotten was 18, and I, for some reason, couldn't get past.
You fight everybody twice.
You fight so you get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss. There was no ties. So if you beat everybody, which I don't know if anyone's ever done, you get 18 points. I think the highest someone got was 12.
Okay.
So it was kind of all, people were kind of grouped together, but one of my favorite wrestlers, Takeshita, came out on top. So yes, but there is something I did want to talk about. Something happened like right after we recorded, and I just went, man, this would have been great to talk about on a future episode. The wrestling world lost a gigantic icon in the beginning of August. Hulk Hogan passed away. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of talked about in the first episode of the heel turn how I felt about it, but I wanted to get Brian's thoughts on this because I was at work when it happened and I was kind of running around doing stuff. And then I opened up my phone and I had multiple text messages, one of which was from Brian going, hey, did you hear Hulk Hogan died? And I was like, wow, Brian kind of knew about this before I think even my boss came up and told me, like, I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So how did you find out that, like, did you just see it on social media?
Just Reddit. It was just on Reddit. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. He had been having some health problems. Now TMZ's reporting it might have been medical malpractice. Oof. Which if the pandemic proved anything is that not all doctors are smart. And not all care is the same and stuff like that. So I can only imagine what happened. But Brian, as someone that did not, or it wasn't as close to wrestling as most people are, what was your, like, what did you know about Hulk Hogan before we started this podcast? Like what was your interpretation of him?
Of Hulk Hogan, he was a name that I knew, but like as like a voice, like everybody would mimic his voice and stuff like that. I didn't really know him as a person or like didn't know anything about him. So like I had no context. Like it didn't really hit me the way, maybe that when Carrie Fisher died for me as a big Star Wars fan, that hit. But I hate to say it for all of our wrestling fans out there, this one didn't have like an emotional resonance with me.
Yeah. So
especially with his recent political views and stuff not really meshing with mine sometimes, I didn't really have that kind of, it was just kind of like okay, this person died.
Yeah. So like, speaking of, like, you talk about like Carrie Fisher, it's just like, even when my dad passed away, it's just, we now live in a world where this person doesn't exist. And our entire
Robin Williams or they leave a big hole in society, in culture, in something like that.
Yeah, and like Hulk Hogan is like just, and I talked about this in the heel turn. Like he's just one of those figures. Like you can't discuss the popularity of professional wrestling without talking about Hulk Hogan. Like he brought it into the mainstream, and then that like and the thing about Hulk Hogan, at least from my perspective, it's like you didn't really ever know the full story because he would embellish stories so much, and like, for lack of a better term, he would lie about stuff and people like, yeah, that didn't actually happen. And he didn't ever really need to because he was there for so much. And it's like, I wish he just would have, his real name, Terry Bollea, it's like, I wish he would have sort of distanced himself from the persona and stuff like that and been like an actual person. And then, like you said, it's, is happens all the time in wrestling. It happens in music. It's now happening in movies and stuff like that. It's like, I have this thing that I enjoy, that there's such a big part of my life, but then the person that is portraying this thing that makes this art is now going against what I call my moral fabric as a person.
Separating the art from the artist type of thing.
Exactly. It's like, what does it take to where I can to where I can enjoy it? Like the thing that sort of pops up, like they talked about, we were watching the match and they mentioned House of Cards, like Kevin Spacey. Sure, like Kevin Spacey's in a lot of great movies. Does that mean I can't ever watch a Kevin Spacey movie again? Or how does that form my opinion of the movie? Or can I still enjoy the movie knowing what we know about him and stuff like that? And the same goes for wrestling with Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar and Hulk Hogan and stuff like that. It's like these people do these things and it's like, you make it so difficult. I say you make it so difficult for me to be a fan right now.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I'm surprised you never saw any movie with him in it. So like the thing,
maybe I don't know. I might have, but like he didn't like. I wouldn't have had the name recognition or the celebrity fawning over that person being in the movie. Like he probably made a cameo in a movie I've watched before, but like I never would have like put two and two together.
That sort of, he was never as big as like The Rock or anything like that, but like the one that like my personal favorite is he was in the lesser known Three Ninjas movie, Three Ninjas at High Noon and Mega Mountain, where it takes place at a oh crap, amusement park. Wow, I couldn't think of that. Where he straight on wore a wig and was like this amazing, like fake action character. The guy that played Ernest and Slinky Dog, Jim Varney, also plays a villain in the movie. Fantastic. Okay. But like, yeah, he's always been a part of the nomenclature. Like he always just sort of like hung around and stuff like that. And
like, you really can't think about professional wrestling without also thinking about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. And then like, I know he kind of took it from another wrestler's name, Superstar Billy Graham, but the use of the term brother and stuff like that, that's a term I use every single day. I'm like, hey brother, don't worry about it, brother, I got you, and stuff like that. So
Randy Savage does that. Not Randy Savage. Randy Savage? Is that his name?
He might, like, not as much.
Brother? Okay.
Hulk Hogan mainly does brother because he usually starts his point. Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Okay.
So yeah, the rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. You left an indelible mark on the sport of professional wrestling and a very tiny blip in the life of Brian.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I love about you, Brian. It's like, because I think if you like had a full embrace of Hulk Hogan, you would have a very different opinion of.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, of. Of professional wrestling, and that's why I like keeping you away from those things. I don't want you to get cynical, or I don't want you to think badly about this. It's like the Wizard of Oz, but I'm keeping all the bad, horrible, racist, and pedophiles behind the curtain. Don't take a look at this. Don't read too much of this. All right,
don't mind the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly, or what he's doing behind the curtain. Yeah. All right, so something else that happened while we were out, I noticed we actually got a comment on our Kaiju Big Battle episode from episode 2, and it was from someone. His name is Michael Arroyo, and he was a cameraman for Kaiju Big Battle, and he left us some nice little tidbits, so I wanted to go through those with you. So first, he said, thank you for featuring us on the podcast.
You're welcome.
Yes, Kung Fu Chicken Noodle usually wears a gi under the soup can. No, the performers cannot see very well out of their costumes. He says, interestingly enough, many wrestlers who went on to star in AEW and NXT have at one time or another performed as a kaiju, which makes sense. I'm going to have to look that up to see who's done what. Referee Dundee, his real name is Mark Dundee.
Awesome.
So so that was not just straight for the Australia thing. All of the props and costumes are made by the Kaiju Big Battles creator. His name is Rand Borden.
Okay.
And we were talking about this during one of the episodes where it sounds like it's very muted, or like you can't. It sounds like the crowd's not really into it. He says in order to avoid copyright issues, we no longer play the often copyrighted music in our live shows, which is why some of the shows might sound a little quiet. So I'm not sure if they're playing like live music over the crowd and stuff like that. And then I was making the comment that the Minion masks look like the Riddler from Batman, to which he responded, the Minion masks have been around long before the Batman movie.
Figured, yeah.
Bear Ranger was the only former kaiju hero who died and was revived, only to come back as an evil member of Dr. Cube's posse.
Amazing.
And then he said he was actually the creator of the website where I was reading off the names.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so thank you, Michael Arroyo. Thank you very much. If you want to learn more about Kaiju Big Battle, please go back and listen to episode 2. So this week I took Brian on a trip to Reseda, California to visit Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and we watched 2 separate matches from 2 separate events. This week. The first one we watched was from the Battle of Los Angeles 2014.
Bola!
Yeah, so also known as Bola. It happened on August 31st, 2014. This was night 3 of a 3-night event, and we saw the second round match of Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr. I was trying to find a match for Brian to watch, and I'll talk about this as we get farther into it. I was trying to find some of their higher rated. This is actually one of the highest rated matches per cage match. And also, like, if you look at a couple of lists, this is considered one of the best matches in PWG history.
Okay.
Which is very surprising to me considering their long lineage of having fantastic matches. So the way Battle of Los Angeles works, Brian, is it's another tournament.
Tournaments.
Yeah, so it's they have first round matches on night 1 and 2. So it's 2 wrestlers against one another. Whoever wins moves on to the second round. So night 1, there's a bunch of wrestlers. Night 2, there's a bunch of wrestlers. There's usually like a tag match interspliced to sort of break it up. And then night 3, everyone that won from night 1, night 2 face each other in another match, in a second round match. If there's enough wrestlers, they face each other. Those wrestlers that win in that one then go into a third round match, and then they wrestle a third time in the final match. Whoever comes out on top is deemed the winner of the Battle of Los Angeles for that particular year. So the match we watched was a second round match. So both Kyle and Zach had wrestled the previous night or the night before, basically. I always thought that was kind of weird. So like a night 1 participant gets a nice little break on night 2, exactly, because these are consecutive nights, so it happens like a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or not Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So the match we watched lasted about 17 minutes, and this is kind of it's a little bit like our second. Wow, I said second episode for Kaiju Big Battle. Kaiju Big Battle was technically our third episode. Second episode was Ring of Honor.
Oh, Ring of Honor. Yes.
Yeah. So when we first started watching the match, I was like, Brian, I'm interested to know what you're going to think about this, because this was
set up in a high school.
Yeah, exactly. This was set up in the very famous American Legion Hall 308, where a lot of PWG matches happened until eventually the Legion Hall, I think it was either sold or they just closed it, basically. So like this is like it's a very not famous arena, but it's like where they did all of their stuff and what they became known for. But no, it's like that. Like that happened in a high school. This happened in an armory, and it's like it's very close. It's very bare bones and stuff like that. And this was, as Brian said very early on, this is wrestling.
This is wrestling. They started off with actual wrestling moves where the guy is on his arms and he twists them around and
there was a lot of wrestling holds, a lot of wrist locks, and a lot of Brian was enjoying how they were getting out of the moves. Some
of them, they got out a little too easy on some of those moves, I will say. Shimmy, Cocoa Puff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so there was a particular move where Kyle O'Reilly and Zack Sabre, one of them is holding both their arms up against their throat.
But he just steps out of it. He's like, let me move your arms down around my body. Let me just step right over you. don't do anything to stop me. Just let me step right out of it.
Yeah, he does the shimmy shimmy cocoa shimmy shimmy. To get out of it, they shimmy their arms down and then they step over it.
I'm just thinking, if I'm the guy trying to hold you, I'm not gonna let you just step over my arms. I'm gonna put my arms back up.
Yeah, this sort of reminds me of the Simpsons episode where Krusty bets against the Harlem Globetrotters and he's just screaming at the TV and he's like, he's twisting the ball on his finger, grab it. Like Brian was it's like, why isn't he just punching him? I'm like, Brian, just sit back. I understand your willing suspension of disbelief is broken right now.
This match did break my suspension of disbelief just a little bit.
Well, this is Catch as Can Wrestling, where it's based on wrestling holds and stuff. Catch as Can is a style of wrestling where it's more wrestling holds and not a lot of what you were deeming as fighting.
Oh, okay.
So that not a lot of, which eventually they
based on the movie Catch Me If You Can, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fake movie about a fake life, as I found out. Who would have known that the con artist would not tell the truth about what actually happened?
I really did all this stuff. Oh, okay, cool. Let's make a movie about it.
Sure, Grandpa. So yeah, the match starts off and it's a lot of wrestling holds and it's
speechless.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to because like there's just so much that happens in those moves.
Both of these matches, I'll be honest, I didn't write any notes down because it was just pandemonium the whole time. Everybody's moving, everybody's like holding each other, everyone's shaking their junk, and it's just like, what is happening right now? I can't look down to write a note because I'm gonna miss 20 things.
Yeah. So Brian, watching the episode, was convinced that the camera was cutting on him.
I still think there were camera cuts in there. Maybe it's just a lag on my computer or whatnot, but I swear there were some times where like he would jump off the ropes and then they're on the ground. And I'm like, did I blink? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, Brian's teleporting. So that actually makes a lot of sense as we're not talking about it. Maybe our share screen function was glitching on you. So maybe I'm gaslighting you. Going,
you definitely guessed. At least twice I was like, there was a cut. No, there wasn't. Get out of here.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
There actually is no podcast. We haven't been talking about any of this. 10 episodes.
Here's the kicker, everybody. I don't have any friends, and I'm just in front of my computer pretending this is real.
Yeah, that's like a very common like Instagram, TikTok thing where it's like passing my mental illness onto my children. It's like them talking to like a daughter, and then it cuts to them talking to nobody or something like that. So that's actually what goes. But no, it's also like the movie where
what's that? Oh, my girlfriend. Oh, I don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, no, my girlfriend who lives in Canada.
She's real. She just goes to a different high school.
Yeah, no.
No, you can't say that. I'm too old to say I have a girlfriend in high school. You have to get that out. No, that can't be a thing. That's a different thing. No.
No, that is staying in, Brian. What was it? I fly to see her every week.
No, I don't.
So, I'm a bit like, as everyone could tell, I'm big on references. Like in The Office, where Andy, he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's my." They're in the high school. He's like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend." And Jim's like,
"What? No."
Yeah, Andy, the worst character in The Office. So. The match sort of goes on, and like you said, like it's wrestling hold after wrestling hold, and eventually we start getting some strikes in there and stuff like that. But it eventually becomes like a lot of submission holds and stuff like that. Like they start contorting each other, and it looks painful.
It does. A lot of it looks bad. Not like it looked bad, but like it could like pull your arm out of its socket or something.
Yeah, like the amount of trust that you have to put in your person is like, here, I'm going to put this hold on you. I have to do it in such a way where it's not going to hurt you.
But I will say, I feel like these were a little more choreographed.
Oh, definitely. We're definitely in an era now, especially as we move into the middle 2010s, where this is becoming
a spectacle then at this point.
No, it's becoming a talking point where like, especially in the other match that we watched, where it doesn't seem like a real fight anymore. Like
it didn't.
like it seems like, all right, we talked about this beforehand, we're going to be moving move to move. And I go back and forth on whether I'm okay with that, because like sometimes when it doesn't seem as quote unquote choreographed, it almost also brings you out of it, where it's like, oh, are they messing something up? Or is there a reason why
when
this
it's not choreographed, some of the matches we've watched before, it feels slower.
Yes, exactly. But the argument is like, well, that's how a real fight is. Like, you wouldn't have all these boom, boom, boom moves and stuff like that.
This felt very, I don't want to say Hollywood, but like choreographing a fight scene in a movie or in a play or something like that.
Yeah. So there was a moment towards the beginning of the match where they start doing kicks and stuff like that, and they start like blocking or like getting out of the way and stuff like that, and you could tell they're pulling them a little bit. But yeah, like the match eventually, like they don't really go outside the ring. They don't do it a ton. It's just like wrestling hold after wrestling hold and stuff like that. And eventually they just start striking each other or trying to like put each other in those wrestling holds and stuff like that. And that's sort of what Zack Sabre and Kyle O'Reilly are known for. They talk about in the beginning of the match that Kyle is more the MMA fighter, but he has that submission background. But Zack is that catch as can wrestler who just turns you into a pretzel the entire match. And Zack is one of my favorite wrestlers because of that. He kind of leans into it, and the commentators have now talked about it. It's like every 10 seconds, if he has you in a hold, he's trying to put you in another hold and stuff like that. And like if he has your arm bar and you go up and you reach your other arm over and stuff like that, so you just gave up that arm, I'm going to grab that arm now and stuff like that, and sort of keep you on your toes and stuff like that. And that kind of happens to Kyle towards the middle of the match, where he gets him in that weird sort of, what I'll call him, the bend, where he's like bending the guy's neck, has the guy's leg, and then completely like contorts him to the point that he like bends over backwards.
Yeah, like for that move, if we're thinking of the same one, like he starts in like a bridge position and just like pulls him up onto his neck. And
yeah, so the match starts going on, and they don't do a ton of like huge moves. Like I think the biggest spot of the match was when they start going towards the turnbuckle towards the end of the match, and they do the moment that Brian supposedly missed.
Would have been a great moment to see.
I know, where Zack Sabre throws Kyle off the top rope, but basically rolls into an arm bar. And that like, again, thinking about it, like there was a lot of arm bars in this match, just where they're just trying to tear each other's shoulder out of the sockets and stuff like that.
They were doing a lot of stuff to like the ankles and the knees too.
Yeah, I see, joint wrestling.
Yeah, joints, everybody, get them.
Yeah, exactly. So the match lasts about 17 minutes. It moves pretty well for a 17-minute match. Zack keeps going for his submissions, but Kyle eventually hits him with a bunch of brain busters. Kyle tries kicking out, but then eventually Kyle gets him into a triangle choke and taps Zack Sabre Jr. out to move on in the tournament for the Battle of Los Angeles in 2014.
Did he tap out, or did he I think like go limp?
I think that was that might have been what it was. He passed out basically.
Yeah, that's what I think too, because it was that triangle hold at the very end, right?
Yes. So Brian, this is again, like going back to the Ring of Honor episode, we saw a match where like there wasn't a ton of showmanship, there wasn't a ton of stuff going on around the match. It was just more of a wrestling match, and like you didn't hate it, but you were just kind of like, As we have moved forward, what did you think of this particular match?
It was fine. You know, after about 10 minutes, I did kind of get a little bored of it, just because there wasn't as the variety.
Yes, so going back, like I watched this match, and again, it was it's one of the highest rated matches, and I can kind of see why, because like a hardcore wrestling fan would love this match because there's a lot of wrestling holds and stuff like that. It's two big independent wrestlers at the time and stuff like that, and that's something that PWG becomes known for, is bringing these like huge independent talents that aren't in WWE and bringing them together and putting them in these sort of super matches, basically. But then I watched it, and I'm like, I mean,
we started talking about getting massages during this match. Like we weren't even like focused fully watching it. Our conversation moved to other things. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I'm feeling, if you're in person, I'm sure it would have held your attention a little bit.
I'm sure if you were there, you're in the energy of the crowd, you have the live people around you. I think you would have.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of "this is wrestling" chants at this particular match. Yeah, we see these matches where sometimes, like, it's not that Brian doesn't have an appreciation for the match. He obviously likes pro wrestling. He wouldn't be doing this if he didn't like pro wrestling. But at the same time, I feel like we haven't hit the point where we've seen enough variety, or maybe that's just something that Brian doesn't connect to, and something I need to think about. Looking forward to episodes or matches that I picked up for the rest of the year. I don't know if we'll ever sort of come back to anything of this sort of style. So something to keep in mind as we move forward. If Brian doesn't like actual wrestling. Brian loves sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment, everybody. Give me a big old tractor that lifts up the ring.
Yeah, I know. Wow. I thought you were going to say like a monster. Like, take me to there needs to be
a monster truck rally. Yeah.
Woohoo, Gravedigger and Bigfoot and all them folks. So I wanted to show Brian what happens at these particular Pro Wrestling Guerrilla shows, because you're going to get these hardcore Kyle O'Reilly, Zack Sabre Jr. matches, but then you also get things like our next match, where it is a
boy.
Yeah, it is a trios match where it's meant to hype up the crowd and like give them something different. So we watched the trios match from Battle of Los Angeles 2016 Night 2, which is the famous match between Matt Sydal, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, who faced the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole, who at this point are now known as Mount Rushmore 2.0, to which Brian responded,
There's four people in Mount Rushmore, everybody. There's Mount Rushmore 2.0 should at least have 8 people, because that's twice.
I think at this point Roderick Strong is the fourth person in Mount Rushmore 2.0, if I remember correctly. The original group was Kevin Steen, Young Bucks, and Adam Cole. Okay. So they had reformed at this point. So this is the main event of Night 2. It lasts about 20 minutes, and it is, for lack of a better term, a barn burner. It just kind of goes, and there's just a lot of kooky shit that go on during this match. I told Brian before the match, I'm like, you're going to hear the commentators Excalibur and Chuck Taylor make fun of Adam Cole's weight the entire match.
Entire match.
So I've heard it I've watched multiple Adam Cole matches at PWG, and it's like a running gag, but like a lot of the things that I remember come from this match. Okay. Like there's a particular, the one I told you about, where it's like they do the dive through the ropes, and it's like Adam Cole's like, well, I'm very surprised, or Chuck Taylor's like, I'm very surprised Adam Cole was actually able to fit through the ropes. Or I think the ropes are actually bigger. Adam Cole can't fit through normal ropes.
They made fun of him wanting to eat ice cream.
Yeah, I know. Everyone loves ice cream.
Everyone loves ice cream.
Hey, they hate us because they ain't us.
That's right.
Exactly. So Brian, like, we watched not a hardcore wrestling match, but we watched a pure wrestling match,
a real wrestling match,
and then we watched just anarchy all over the place.
It was anarchy, truly anarchy.
Yeah. And Brian asked for that. Oh, so this is like a 3-on-3. They have to tag in, tag out. And I said, yes.
It was not even close. There was some tagging every once in a while, but everybody just wanted to have some fun.
Yeah, I know. Towards the end of the match, Chuck Taylor just says, it's like, oh, we're honoring the tag.
Yeah, he was like, oh, they actually tagged somebody for once.
Exactly. And it became like a running gag too, because like towards the end, they like hit, like Nick and Matt Jackson went in for the tag, and people went, oh yeah, they actually did it this time, and stuff like that. So Adam Cole and the Young Bucks are part of the Bullet Club. They're we are in peak independent wrestling at this point.
What is the Bullet Club? Is it a specific group of wrestlers?
So yes, so in I want to say it's 2012. It might be 2010. It's probably 2012. There is a group in a company called New Japan Pro Wrestling. They call them Gaijin wrestlers, basically the foreign wrestlers space. Mm-hmm. It is Finn Balor, who then was known as Prince Devitt, Carl Anderson, and Bad Luck Fale, now known as Don Fale, form a group called the Bullet Club. Okay. They basically make like figure guns and stuff like that. They have a very famous t-shirt that ends up at Hot Topic, but like that t-shirt, like they're like the New World Order. They become like one of the hottest things in all of professional wrestling, and like all like the evil Gaijin wrestlers that come over to New Japan, most of them go inside that group. And
okay,
what was it? They eventually become very popular. They become like cool bad. In America, basically, it's like, oh, these guys they're so bad, they're cool now, and stuff like that. Okay, it's sort of like root for the bad guy, because you said that in the beginning of the the match when we watched, like, who's the bad guy? I'm like, it's technically supposed to be the other guys, but you can tell that everybody loves the Young Bucks and Adam Cole because
So it was the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. They were the bad guys.
Yes, they were supposed to be the bad guys.
Okay.
Like, they obviously do the underhanded things during that match, but
they started out with middle fingers up. That's bad.
Yeah, exactly. You've actually seen, like, what was that? I'm not going to do the whole, have you seen any of these wrestlers? You've seen all three of them before. You saw the Young Bucks at
AEW.
Yeah, AEW, and then Adam Cole was the guy you thought was Triple H that came out.
Yeah, okay.
Who was doing everyone was jumping up doing the Adam Cole and stuff like that. What did you think of the Adam Cole point up to the sky and scream your name?
I forgot that was him.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot that was. I honestly, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just pointing and going, "Hey,
hey, Adam Cole, baby." Yeah, it is also a clash of styles because you have three of the probably biggest they call them high flyers in the world at that point. Worth Will
Ospreay flipping around and doing a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was happy that Chuck Taylor was calling him out for it. He's like, why is he doing a roll? Why does he just do the DDT? And then there was a point where someone made the hot tag to Ricochet, and he's like, Ricochet, unnecessary roll, which he didn't do, but I thought would have been funny if he did. But yeah, the Young Bucks do like a whole bunch of underhanded things. Nick Jackson mugs for the camera the entire time.
The whole time.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of crotch.
Air humping.
Yeah, so that is known as the suck it chant.
Ooh,
or so basically you take it. I'm surprised. Yeah, exactly. You take your arms and you drop it down. You go, suck it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I get to explain that to you, Brian.
I was a 15-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the DX suck it. So Degeneration
X
was a WWE faction, and they did it in an X, but they did the same thing.
So I didn't know that came from wrestling. That was just a thing. So that became like just a thing that people did.
Exactly. So now, yeah, I'm sure many
everything comes back to wrestling.
See, wrestling is everything. So I'm sure many a kid got kicked out of their high school or middle school for doing that to a teacher and stuff like that. Dropping the double birds and giving them the suck it. There's also another move another thing they do. It's called the too sweet, where it's almost like the I love you, but you kind of put your fingers out. Yeah, exactly. So my story about that. So it's a pretty synonymous wrestling thing. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall back in the original NWO were doing it. And you basically like do it to each other like this, like, ooh, like too sweet me, brother. Stuff like that.
Oh, they're kissing.
Yeah, exactly. So I was
talking about brothers kissing.
So my story is I was working. I was driving down the road, and I'm stopped at a stoplight, and I look over and I see this guy. It was like a lobby of like a motel or something like that, but this guy was just sitting in there watching TV or something like that, and he had on a Bullet Club shirt.
Okay.
So I saw him, and this is like 9:00 at night. So I hit my horn and I make the too sweet symbol at him, and then he kind of just stares at me, and then gives it right back.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah. Like, oh, it's one of my proudest moments. I'm like, yeah, too sweet, me brother. So they sort of co-opted, and then another thing that they were doing was their the elite chant. So where they'd hold out their three fingers like this and start going the elite. So that was another chant. The Young Bucks, Adam Cole and Kenny Omega at this point have their own YouTube channel where they're calling themselves the Elite, and then eventually it goes into wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah, like Brian, talk about the match. You take the driver's seat. What did you enjoy about this match?
We joke about it. This one was very homoerotic. This was a homoerotic. There was groin crunching, there was brothers kissing, there was lots of stuff going on in this match here today.
Yeah, there was incest. Will Ospreay bit Adam Cole's dick. Well, that's
there's a little bit of there's wrestling for everybody. Every person can enjoy wrestling just a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit. Well, another avenue.
Everybody's a little bit of a wrestler.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit racist, and everyone's a little bit of wrestling. Doesn't mean you go about committing headlocks or whatever. Sorry, not my best work.
So it starts off right, very choreographed. Like you got everybody doing the same move over and over again. Like the beginning was just like, here we go, let's start the match.
Yeah, we got what we call a super kick.
Super kick. There's
that's not
super
the first
kick counter.
Yes, that's actually not the first time we saw a super kick. We saw the Sweet Chin Music, also known as a super kick, from Zack Sabre Jr. Or not? Oh wow, Zack Sabre, Shawn Michaels. I don't know how I messed that up. Shawn Michaels.
We just watched Zack Sabre. That's probably why you.
Yeah, but Shawn Michaels and Zack Sabre, not the same.
Okay.
That's where I should know better. I'll go hit myself with a belt later on. For messing that up. Yeah, exactly. Sinner, sin, shame. I'll walk naked down the street with someone behind me with a bell.
I'll do it. Ding. Shame. Penis.
Yeah, no. So we saw Shawn Michaels super kick Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And so that's like another topic of discussion is these guys use the super kick so often. Shawn Michaels used it as a finishing move, and like when
they
he used
it
it
as an opening move.
Yeah, exactly. Like they call them like transitional moves and stuff like that, where it's like, oh my God, like you're using a move that I put so much work into, and now it's like you're just spamming it basically all over the place. And it eventually becomes known as a super kick party.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we went to Suplex City. Now we went to a super kick party.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's got to be coined. Everything's got to be trademarked.
Everything's
basically.
a name.
Yeah. Trying to think. Superhero landing. That's what I was trying to think of. We saw the superhero landing.
We did see a superhero landing. We saw two of them.
Yeah. So Will Ospreay and Ricochet light the wrestling world on fire in discussions when they do that against each other in a match in the Super Juniors, which is a match I'm sure we'll watch at some point, where they're like fighting back and forth. It's obviously very choreographed, and then they basically do the flip to the rope, and then they backflip onto like the superhero landing, and it's amazing. Like, oh, and and exactly, everyone loved it, but people were like, that would never happen in a real fight. Why would
I've seen it in tons of movies. It happens all the time.
Exactly. You never backflip into a wall or front flip into a wall, backflip back, and then land with your hand on the ground.
Always.
What was it? It's Deadpool, right, where he goes superhero landing.
Yes, and he breaks his knee.
Yeah, exactly. I saw you popping a little bit for like a lot of the moves and stuff like that. Like Ricochet at one point jumps over a wrestler over the turnbuckle into the crowd.
Yeah, like there was a lot of it was over the top, and I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of these guys would be great gymnasts.
Yes, I'm sure they all are.
Yeah, exactly. So like we just get like all these like back and forth moves, and sometimes people talk about it's like they're hitting all these big moves and stuff like that, but like it's like if you eat this like cake every single day, does it lose its luster? It's like there's sort of no pace to it. There's sort of like no even flow or even flow. There's no flow to it. It's just like move. And does it sort of dilute everything? Because like you said, like we were talking about, it's like I don't know how they remember anything that they're doing in this ring, because it just moved. And then eventually it's like, oh, and then eventually everyone's just in the middle of the ring passed out because they just did 50 moves and stuff like that. And then
I would say so without that ebb and flow.
There you go.
I
know some of these words.
It did tend to just kind of bleed together.
But and like that's sort of the thing. I think they wanted to go 100 miles an hour. Like this is the last match of the night. They got to get people on their feet and stuff like that. They want to send the crowd home happy.
Yep.
Let's talk about that crowd. That crowd is like right on top of that ring and stuff like that.
They were really close.
Yes, that space is known for being quite intimate and also quite hot.
They kept mentioning that.
Yeah, I think it was in the Kyle O'Reilly Zack Sabre match where they're like Excalibur, who wears a full-on mask. I was
wondering because he's like, sweat has run into my mouth. My mask can no longer soak up the sweat.
Yeah, exactly. So Excalibur is a former PWG wrestler. PWG is run by another wrestler. His name is Super Dragon. Yeah, exactly. What a fantastic name, Super Dragon. who also wears a mask, but stays more behind the scenes and stuff like that. But Excalibur, who also wrestled under a mask, just kept the mask. He's wearing like jeans and a t-shirt when he's and then just has it, and it's fantastic. He announces for AEW now, and he still wears same mask, but he just wears like he wears like the normal sport coat and tie and stuff like that, and it's fantastic. Right. And some people have problems like, why the hell's that guy wearing a mask? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, it makes him different. He's hilarious. Excalibur is one of my favorite, and then again, going back to Chuck Taylor is also one of my it's
crazy.
Yeah, they were watching the match at that point, but sometimes you're also watching it for the commentary of the match and stuff like that. It's like you're just hanging out with them and stuff like that.
Do the commentators know what's coming up? Because their take on like how quick they identify the moves and are doing, like, do they get like a play-by-play that they're going to be?
No, like, what was it? They're just calling it as they see it, basically. Okay. And then, like, I'm sure Chuck Taylor had no idea. Like, Chuck Taylor's just reacting to what's going on. Excalibur might have an idea. Sometimes you'll find that particular announcers say that, like, don't tell me what's going to happen because I want my reaction to be real. And some people are like, well, I need to know exactly what's going to happen so I can at least tell that story, or at least not convolute the story and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Excalibur knows what's going on, but also wouldn't be surprised if he's just reacting as we're watching it.
Because I didn't know if it was like a little bit of foreshadowing, but we talked about that one wrestler biting the other wrestler in the junk, like 2 seconds before, he was just like, that's a dangerous move, you know, he's shaking his junk right in front of the other guy's face, and then all of a sudden he bites down on it.
Yeah, what was it? That might have just Chuck's just speaking off the cuff. I mean, if you you're sticking your penis in don't
tell me what I'm doing. Don't tell me what I cannot do.
Exactly. If you're going to stick it in front of someone's face, I mean, it's very obvious that it probably
it's fair game at that point.
Exactly. That's all he's saying at that point. Yeah. So the match eventually just delves into even more chaos where Matt Sydal does falls off a turnbuckle, Ricochet jumps out the ring and stuff like that. And eventually we just get set up for the final move where Adam Cole takes a big move. Nick Jackson tries to jump in. He then gets Will Ospreay then jumps into the middle of the ring and gives him what they call a cutter in the middle of the ring. So that sets him up at the other turnbuckle. And then we get Matt Jackson, who I forgot what happens to him, but he ends up at the other turnbuckle. And then we get a triple shooting star press into a triple pin, and that ends the match.
That was a good finisher. I will say that was a good finisher.
Yeah, it's basically like they were at 90 miles an hour, but they took it up to 100 for that last part of the match and stuff like that. And it the crowd just absolutely went batshit insane and stuff like that. And again, it's like one of those things where in 2016, you weren't seeing matches like that on a regular basis. And all of these guys are still wrestling.
It's got to be hard to keep innovating.
Yeah.
For this kind of storytelling.
Yeah. That's sort of the thing. Moves that become revolutionary 10 12 years ago are now commonplace. So there's a move that Adam Cole does. It's called the Panama Sunrise, where he jumps and he sort of flips over the other guy, but the other guy also does a backflip, and it looks like he pile drives the guy into the ring. And was originally called a Canadian Destroyer. And this was a move in 2004 basically, and it was this, oh my god, I've never seen this move before. It was this one guy was using it, and now everyone uses it, and now it becomes this sort of thing. It's oh my god, it was this amazing move, and it was used the Sweet Chin Music. It was used as a finisher, and all of a sudden everybody's using it. So it's it doesn't hit you the same way. It's
that's what you said. The DDT used to be like that too, right?
Yeah, so the DDT was Jake's the Snake's move and stuff like that, and now everybody uses the DDT and stuff like that. And I right now I'm going to compare it to tolerance level. It's if you drink, your first drink, it's oh my god, this is amazing. But the more you drink, or the more you have of that same thing, your tolerance is going to build, and then you have to sort of get more. So things sort of build up. And now I think we're at a point where wrestlers are almost endangering themselves by the crazy shit that they're doing.
Sure, okay.
For all the backflips and landing on the back of their necks and stuff like that. Oof. When sometimes I know more often than not, you're usually at a middle point of I could take it or leave it. I like those sort of slower matches now and stuff like that. Cause again, it's different from everything else that we're saying, where everyone's sort of jumping around and stuff like that. And I think if you watch it, in the context of an entire show. It's like, oh, I probably like that match more than I probably take it out. It's like, yeah, but like if you're seeing like a whole bunch of like death matches or cage matches and stuff like that, it's like it's good to see a nice little old fashioned wrestling match. So any final thoughts on either of these matches before we finish up? How did you like the Battle of Los Angeles?
They were fun. They were fun. Maybe just a little too long for me, but they had a lot of energy, which was really nice.
Yeah, these are, especially after like 2016, become hot ticket items and become like impossible to get tickets for because they become so well known, because it's like this huge 3-night event. At this point, like streaming services aren't big, but you can find them on high spots. But like, they would film it like how we were watching it, and then they'd sell the DVD basically. And like the DVDs were like, I got a whole bunch of these sitting behind me. And like these matches were ones that like got me back into wrestling.
Okay.
Because at this point, you only really have WWE, and TNA was kind of floundering at this point. So like finding these matches and finding highlights on YouTube, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I need to go check this out and stuff like that. And eventually it leads us to AEW.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, PWG is no longer.
I was going to ask if they were still around.
So the pandemic hits them harder than most, as they do every independent promotion, because they can't, and they're in California too, which had even stricter rules than most and stuff like that. And so like you had like one of the first shows back, like everybody in the arena is wearing a mask. They lose out at for a seat. They end up at this very cool space, where it's got like these like opera balconies. Yeah. So, but it's just different and stuff like that. But eventually like AEW starts in 2019. They take a lot of PWG's talent with them and sign them to TV contracts. So they kind of had to sort of rebuild up their roster. And as they're rebuilding it up, the pandemic happens and they don't do shows.
Got it.
And eventually they come back in like maybe 2022. Maybe even 2021, but they're not running as frequently. So they would run every month, every 2 months, stuff like that. And then eventually, unfortunately, Super Dragon, who runs the company, his wife has some medical issues, and he just goes, yeah, we're not going to, like, they hadn't been doing shows all that often anyways. It's like, we're just going to, maybe they'll come back someday. I hope so. But they're definitely a part of the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, independent wrestling promotions when it comes to where AEW is, and something that I go back to because it's just fun to watch and listen to and stuff like that. It just feels like a party and stuff like that. Even if you weren't there, it's like, oh, this is really cool. Like even just watching it, it's really cool. All right, so that'll do it for our matches, and we will move on to Everything is Wrestling segment.
Everything is wrestling.
Yes. So everything is wrestling because we did watch wrestling. So I try and get these segments sort of to conjoin with what we are watching. Unfortunately, a lot of independent promotions don't do a ton of backstage segments, don't do a ton of promos and stuff like that. So I had to find something that I enjoyed that was also independent wrestling related. So I showed Brian a clip from Chikara, a wrestling company called Chikara, and it is the match between Chuck Taylor and Archibald Peck from it's called How You Play the Game. This happened in 2012, and it is, if you don't know what this is, I just recommend looking it up on YouTube. It is entitled Chuck Taylor and Archibald Peck Pose for the Cameras. And so to lightly explain it, there is a wrestling match going on, and they're wrestling in this particular space that has these giant murals of nature on the walls. And so Chuck Taylor thinks they're real, and so he takes Archibald Peck up to one of them and goes, "I'm going to drown you." Tries to throw him into one of the walls.
To drown you.
Yeah, he says straight up, like, "Oh, so I kind of wanted to talk about that with the previous matches. I love these smaller matches because you can hear what they're saying, and they're saying really stupid stuff. And it's like, oh, I can't even remember. Man, I wish I could remember what was going on in the trios match. But there was a bunch of stuff they were saying to the camera and stuff like that. But like this one, Chuck Taylor literally says to the camera, "I'm going to drown him," and then throws him into the wall. And Archibald Peck goes, "Ow!" And Chuck just kind of like, it's like a Bugs Bunny moment of like, man, I really thought that was real. And then Archibald Peck gets the bright idea to start taking photos in front of it. And
Take my picture.
Exactly. And Chuck Taylor, my favorite also is the announcer's going, well, Bright, the referee's counting. And Archibald Peck goes, no, wait. And the ref stops, and Chuck just goes, okay. Like, he throws up his hands. He's like, what the fuck, man? Like, help me out.
Time out.
Exactly. So eventually becomes this back and forth of them taking these very goofy photos in front of the murals. And eventually they move over to another mural, and Chuck
throws them on some chairs.
Yeah, exactly. So Chuck Taylor, tricks Archibald into going farther out into the chairs than he should, and then he ends up punching Archibald, and all the chairs magically fall on Archibald, and he gets thrown down. So Brian, what did you think of this little segment?
It was fun. It was really fun. Like if I was in the crowd or anything, it would have been that would be a memorable moment of the whole match right there. Like I think that was really, really good. Storytelling and just fun. Yeah,
it's just funny. Like in the middle of this big heated brawl, they end up having this nice little, it's very theater kiddie, as I will say. It's like, okay, we're in this space, what can we do? And so, like, of course, Chuck Taylor goes, what if we have
what
a
if
photo
I try throw him through this picture, and then we take pictures?
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun if we have a photo shoot?
Yeah.
Exactly. So like, and that's what I love about, like, that's usually how, especially at that time, people were quote unquote going viral. It's like you would get that little clip posted like all over the internet and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I want to book that guy now. So it's like you're sort of searching for those moments. And like Chuck Taylor, it just has a bunch of stuff. Like there's another one I wanted to show you, but it's a little bit more, it's much longer. But we were talking about this during our watch along, that Chuck Taylor likes to name things. There's a whole bit that I'll send over to you, Brian, where Chuck Taylor has come up with wrestling names. Amazing. And they're fantastic. Like one of the best ones is this is how we do it. Because there's also a fantastic bit where Chuck Taylor, who's wrestling for Chikara, loses the rights to his name in a match, so he has to come out to a new name every week. And so one of them was this is how we do it.
Amazing.
Another good one he had was Raw Dog Rick Beanbag.
Amazing. Yes, please.
Frank Grabass Hernandez. Danny Double Dip Dawkins. There's a bunch. No, Chuck Taylor is like a national treasure, and unfortunately he is not allowed to wrestle anymore because of some injury issues. And I wish he was on commentary more, because every time he's on commentary I just laugh my nuts off.
Who does he do commentary for? Like when he
did it for PWG, but like he hasn't really done it for AEW.
Okay.
He more so works in a backstage role, and like even during the trios match, so for the Kyle O'Reilly Zack Sabre match, Rick Knox checks both of them, and Brian goes, is he checking him for weapons? I'm like, yeah, you don't know if he has a gun. And so fast forward to when we're watching the trios match,
he's like, Chuck, just give him a gun.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a gun. He needs to kill him. Like that's the only way this match is going to end, basically. So I wanted to introduce Brian to some of the more serious parts of independent wrestling, but also just some of the wackier shit that just ends up happening, because there's another bit with another wrestler called Danhausen where all I can say is this wrestler is a mix between Sven Gulli, Elvira, and Pee Wee Herman, where he did the tequila dance during a match on top of a bar.
Amazing.
Exactly. Another thing I'll send it to. So it's like little things like that. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Like I call it late night wrestling, where it's like you're not necessarily there to see a 5-star match. You're just there to be entertained and something going on, like things that we participate in, like Fight Night, basically.
Yeah. This felt very Fight Night.
Yes, that is definitely something. Like every time I see something, I was like, man, that's a great idea. I wish I had opportunity to think of these things and stuff like that, just to sort of go out of the box. And that will do it for our Everything is Wrestling segment.
Yay!
So that'll about do it for this episode. Thank you all for joining us today. If you're listening, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, so you never miss any of our content. We do post some YouTube shorts. Join us on Patreon, where you can find all of our bonus content, including this show, video, and ad-free. Let's talk about next week. So, Brian, football season is coming up.
Football.
Oh, yes, American football, not any of that stuff they do in England, where it's just football. Yeah, exactly.
It's life.
So what better way for us to get ready for football than watching the very first ever Stadium Stampede?
Ooh.
Yes, which took place during the beginning of the pandemic at Double or Nothing in AEW in 2020.
What stadium was it at?
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out. Okay, cool.
Exactly. This is pretty fun. This is something that Morgan watched, my wife, and she's like, Morgan is it's kind of like he was like, you have these hardcore wrestling matches. I keep calling them hardcore wrestling. You have these legit wrestling matches. She could take them or leave them, but you show her something like this, she's like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Awesome.
So I don't want to spoil what it's going to be. So we will watch that next week. Brian, anything before we wrap up today?
Anything before we wrap up? Let's see. I saw The Naked Gun.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I really did. I thought it was well done. It gives good homage to the original stuff, but like it's its own separate thing as well, which is really nice. So I'd recommend it if anybody likes the Naked Gun series. I think it did a good job.
Yeah, like if you haven't already figured it out, I am a huge Naked Gun fan. Like,
did you see it then?
No, I've not seen the new one. My wife saw it and was, along with her dad, who's a movie critic, were very harsh on it.
Were they really harsh on it? Oh no.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know if you're gonna enjoy it, because like the idea of the original Naked Gun is they were spoofing film noir and police procedurals, and they were saying like the first and second movie both do that. The third movie kind of does Prison Break sort of spoofing with the whole prison sequence, but the critique was like it's just a series of bits as opposed to what they're actually spoofing.
Yeah, okay. I will say it is a series of bits too, but I think it was fun. It was enjoyable in my book.
Yeah, so I saw like a little clip where he's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna ruin another suit." It's like stupid stuff, like but like it's just hard to like go, and I'm also not the biggest Liam Neeson fan right now because I feel like he stays in that lower register. I'm gonna talk like this. I'm like, like I love Leslie Nielsen as Frank Drebin and stuff like that. Like he had that very commanding voice. And one of my favorite throwaway bits is actually two now. One is in the first Naked Gun movie where O.J. Simpson's trying to tell him the name of the ship, and he goes, "I love you." He's like, "I love you too, Norfolk." And then eventually it cuts to George Kennedy. He goes, "I love you." Frank, when he was saying "I love you," he was saying the name of the ship, and Leslie Nielsen just pauses and goes, "I realize that now." The other good one is in the second movie where he's crying at the bar, and he turns to the bartender, and the bartender comes up. He's like, "What can I get you?" And Leslie Nielsen goes, "Give me the strongest thing you got." And the bartender from off camera pulls a oiled up strong man without his shirt on.
It's very in that vein. It's very much in that vein of comedy.
Yeah.
There's so many puns, so much wordplay that goes on. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So with moving and everything going on in my life, I haven't even touched Death Stranding. I basically just, if I have popped on, I've popped on a game of MLB The Show, basically. So like, hopefully within the next month I will be settled down and I can actually start watching movies, reading books, and what was it? Because the only time I really get to watch wrestling is when I'm on the cardio machine.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, basically, or I try and put it on the background. But even then, it's, man, they say youth is wasted on the young. Time is wasted on the young. I wish I could go back to a time when I had no responsibilities, and it's like, man, I really wish I should have just watched that movie that one time or something like that. Because now my backlog is just so big, where it's like, man, I could have gotten all this done a decade ago. All right, so that'll wrap it up for Wrestling Without Context. Thank you for joining us, and join us next time. Bye.
Bye. Yep. Join us next time. Yeah, that's it. Bye, everybody.
Brian doesn't know about suplex slams. He thinks a wrist lock is a boy band. Can't tell a moonsault from a flying knee. He's clueless about the ring's legacy. He called a steel cage a fancy shed. Said lucha masks are hats for your head. He thinks the Undertaker's just a grave guy. This poor dude's living a wrestling lie. to prove. Miss WrestleMania 4 and in class, confused a pile driver with a chair to crash. He thought kayfabe was a type of pie. Stop pretending, kid, we all saw